I'm Alan Weiss, and this is The Writing on the Wall. Welcome back to Writing on the Wall. Today's subject, today's episode is bullying. You ever been bullied? I've been bullied. You know, when I was in high school, I used to have guys standing in front of my locker, and they'd say, give me a quarter or you won't get near your locker. In fact, we'll cut your lock off it and put another lock on it with our key. I gave him the quarter. I gave one guy 50 cents and I said, George, I'm paying you ahead this week and next week. He said, okay, that's great. Next week he showed up again. I said, George, I paid ahead. He said, you're right. Third week he was there. I said, George, I paid ahead. He said, you're right. That's how I took care of that. You didn't go to the principal. You didn't go to your parents. You didn't file a protest. You didn't get the ACLU. You figured out how to deal with it. The presidential debate, the first presidential debate, and as we're filming this, I don't know if a subsequent one ever took place. I suspect not. But the presidential debate, the first one with Biden and Trump, was a vast, ugly humiliation. Trump screaming and shouting and interrupting and so forth. And Biden getting drawn into it, calling him a fool and a clown. I don't care what your politics are. I don't care where you are in the spectrum. It's just no way to comport yourself. And of course, the moderator was hopeless. The moderator got bullied. I mean, Chris Wallace needs to find another line of work. What did he expect? Now, there's nothing new historically about this. People in politics always used to sling mud, have always cast aspersions, hurled epithets at each other. They used to do it, though, standing on tree stumps. This is where the stump speech came from. They stood on a tree stump so they could be seen by the crowds and heard by the crowds. But now you don't have tree stumps. You have mass exposure on media. And so they're not just making accusations, they're bullying. They're trying to overcome, trying to pound down the opposition. It's a new ugliness. They're talking about the other person's families. They're bringing all kinds of dastardly things into this. Apparently, there are no boundaries anymore. The thing with bullies, though, is that they are insecure. They have low self-esteem. And so they try to compensate for that by bringing other people down to their level, by bullying them. Force of nature, by size, by insult, by trying to gather other people. Now we have bullying, as you know, on the web. But you have to confront bullies. If you mirror them, if you call the bully a fool and a clown, you're just enabling them. You're saying, fine, I'll engage in this with you. And that's the wrong tactic. You have to confront a bully or ignore a bully. If you ignore a bully, you take all of his or her power away. It'll die out. But if you confront them, that's fine too. You don't confront them physically. You simply say to them, you're trying to bully me. I'm not impressed. Compete on equal terms. Don't try to compete with me by screaming. You know, when Trump shadowed Hillary on the stage, remember that was the claim in the early presidential debates in 2016? She should have simply turned around, faced up to him, and calmly said to him, what are you trying to do, intimidate me? Just take that stuff. But what did she do? Not at that debate, but she used these words, deplorable. She said they're deplorables, people on the other side, which has a bullying impact from her. They're inferiors. People who vote for my opposition are inferiors. The way she treated Monica Lewinsky was bullying. What Monica Lewinsky said was true. But Hillary Clinton's early attempts to degrade her were horrible, bullying attempts using the media. So the mediators, the moderators in these debates have been historically pathetic. But this is what modern journalism is all about. That sound you hear is Edward R. Murrow rolling over in his grave. These moderators are terrible. Will Putin or Xi Jinping or Kim Jong-un be bullied? I don't think so. They are bullies. That's not the way you handle these guys. You simply calmly face up to them. Remember Reagan? Bring down that wall. That's what he said. The schoolyard bullies were disarmed. The schoolyard bullies were finally overcome. The guys at my locker were finally overcome because we learned to deal with them. But we should be able to deal with these people today in a much more civilized and much more effective fashion. Bullies feel themselves inferior. That means you're superior to begin with. So deal with them that way.